The Third City Podcast is a production of Third City Coalition. In our show, we examine case studies in urban development in Stockton and other cities like Stockton across the country, exploring their local and regional impacts. Individual efforts play a role in Third City development, and it starts with you.
Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton? Join Nate Knott on Stockton Alive every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
KXVS, The Voice of Stockton Live. The Voice of Stockton at Stone Soup Studio. KXVS.org.
This is KXVS, the voice of Stockton, and it's time for the Tom Patti reality show with your host, Tom Patti.
What a great lead-in. Thanks, Governor Don. You're the best. Welcome. This is the Tom Patti reality show. I am County Supervisor Tom Patti, and this is, ironically enough, the Tom Patti reality show, where we discuss everything local, political, current, and real. Thank you all for joining us today. And of course, in studio is my trusty sidekick, Ted Lehrer, and I appreciate your being here again. Ted, you are presenting yourself so well. Looking across at the table, I see no food stains. You're trimming down. You're looking absolutely fantastic, young man. What are you doing these days? Is it Grecian formula? Your hair getting darker?
No, I haven't had lunch yet. That's why there's no food stains on my clothing. But trust me, come see me around 5:00 p.m. It'll be the Ted Lehrer.
Before the end of the day?
Yeah, before the end of the day, it'll be the Ted Lehrer that we all love so much.
Well, good to have you here, buddy. As always, I know you've got we have a great studio guest that we're going to introduce in a minute. Great. But we've got a good lineup today of things to talk about, and many things coming and going. I do want to give a mention. Last night I had an opportunity, which I'm actually going to discuss with our guest today, follow up on, but I had an opportunity to talk to some of our firefighters that are over in Santa Rosa fighting and volunteering. There's fight crews from Los Angeles up and down and all around this West Coast. People are converging and helping fight those battles, and just told them that we're all praying and wishing for them to be safe, and of course to help this travesty come to an end, and do what we can to preserve life and that community as much as possible.
Now, would these be firefighters from the city of Stockton or county firefighters, or both?
Both. Everybody's there. I mean, it's really everybody's. They've circled the wagons and they're coming in from all directions to help out.
Manteca Councilmember Richard Silverman was noting that Manteca firefighters were also part of the fight against the fires up in Grass Valley.
Yeah.
The Atlas fire, I believe that one was. But it's great to see that our San Joaquin County fire teams are involved in putting out these terrible wildfires.
Yeah, it's good, and there, of course, everybody's in our thoughts and prayers. So that's an important time. I also had an opportunity to meet this last week. Of course, our own very famous and legendary boxing. He was an uncrowned champion. He won the title. Was robbed the decision twice. But Yaqui Lopez hosted his annual boxing event out at the Stockton Fairgrounds, and he had Israel. Let me see. Well, first he had his big guest was he had two champions come in, and one of them was Ernie Shavers, who, when you look back in the history of boxing, this guy was he was a former Nevada state boxing champion, so he was definitely a champion of sorts. But he was pretty much the gatekeeper to the title. If you wanted to fight for the title, the heavyweight championship, and if you could get past him, which not many did, out of 71 fights, he had I think it was 49 knockouts, one of the highest ratios, and considered one of the hardest punchers in the sports of boxing. So it was a real pleasure to meet him, his lovely wife Rita, and they came to town. They went to high schools, they went to community centers, they went to homeless shelters, and they reached out and did a lot through Yaqui Lopez to have an impression and help the community. And it was notable, and it was great to be in presence of an accomplished athlete and a real champion of a person. I really enjoyed. Man lived a clean life, stayed out of the headlines, never saw him in trouble. He said he made his whole life to be certain to stay away from drugs One time he had 2 glasses of champagne and realized he didn't ever want to do that again. He didn't like the way he felt the morning after, and he just lived a good life.
And he was here in Stockton for Yaqui Lopez's annual event. Yeah, I did see that you posted something on your digital media feeds. They went to the Gospel Center Rescue Mission, where a guest you served there as a...
Worked there for 10 years.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. And, so Mr. Shavers and his entourage were there before the event on Friday night.
Yeah, so, and we do have that was, since we just heard the mysterious voice, our studio guest.
Benjamin
La voice, la voce.
Benjamin Saffold, a lifelong Stocktonian. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we are going to discuss some happenings here in Stockton and what you see for the future of the city.
Excellent. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure. Ted and I go back. We used to work at Tower Records years ago. I won't say how many years ago. But basically, I'm a lifelong Stocktonian, passionate about Stockton. When I was born and raised here, focused on what everyone else focused on, which is doing what you want to do and passionate about, and then leaving. And when I left for Sacramento, which was not that far, and I did work for Tower Records corporate office, when Tower Records was folding, I decided what my options were going to be, and I decided to come back to Stockton. It was a deliberation process. Stockton wasn't my first choice. But like with a lot of lifelong Stocktonians, it calls you back sometimes. And so when I came back focused about really helping what the Bible calls the least of these. And so I came back with a focus. So then I started working at the Gospel Center Rescue Mission, and then I took on different board and committee assignments, and I've been on the Arts Commission, I've been on the Downtown Stockton Alliance Board, the Friends of the Fox, and basically following my passions, which is basically homelessness, the arts, and making downtown strong and vibrant. So those led me to those organizations, and after 10 years with the Rescue Mission, really taking a break through the rest of this year and getting my win. But come 2018, I have a lot of things I have planned, and something else in 2019, which I probably won't share today. But I'm excited about what Stockton's prospects are and getting past a lot of challenges. I do believe that they can be overcome. I think that it takes a lot of innovation, but most importantly, it takes community engagement. And that's what I want to be a part of from the citizen side, and really help with the city and county, and making sure that that relationship is established. There's a partnership that leads to attacking the problems together.
Well, Ben, you just said, wow, that's
so that was the intro.
But a myriad of things to be involved in. It's a target-rich environment, every one of them. And first off, as an elected official, we strive to get involved as you are, and oftentimes we are tasked with it. But to see people that live here and volunteer to step up and work hard and dedicate and be committed to resources and change and influence and participation, that just leaps and bounds about you and your character. So I really want to thank and appreciate that.
Thank you for your words. I appreciate that.
Julie Damron-Brown is going to be candidate for Stocktonian of the Year, but next year we'll talk about you.
No. Well, I mean, that's kind of you, but that's, that's not really what it's about for me. But Julie Damron-Brown's a good friend of mine.
She's the best.
We talked actually yesterday, and I think I can't speak highly enough of her. I've been on her show here.
Yeah.
She's been a friend for a long time, and we love laughing together, having fun together. Her husband is the former CEO of the Gospel Center Rescue Mission.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I really enjoy her, and there's no one more qualified to be Stocktonian of the Year than her, in my opinion.
She's amazing and sets a standard above. And I've actually found out that she keeps this hidden, but she was one of triplets. There's 3 of her.
I didn't know that.
You can tell that oftentimes they wear the same outfit, but so sometimes you check the shoes, and there's 2 of the 3 have a different size shoe. So you can know that.
That explains it, because I thought she just didn't get any sleep.
Yeah, no, she goes.
But there's 3 of her.
There's 3 of them.
That's the solution.
Yeah, there's the doctor, there's the volunteer, there's the advocate. It just goes. There's a myriad of things. So there's actually 3 of them. I unearthed that very.
That's her secret.
Fact. Yeah.
I thought she just didn't sleep, but there's actually 3 of her. That's
so. Now, speaking of energy, you said I don't want to talk about yet, or you're not yet ready to reveal what you're doing in 2018. I'm told you're planning on running cross country, kind of like Forrest Gump, and running for a cause and raising money. Just a solo mission, running from one coast to the back there and back. And you might do it round trip twice.
I'd like to take this opportunity to announce that you've been misinformed.
I'm sorry, that's my fault. I was fluffing up the bio resume in incidents.
I am running a good race. I'm running a good life, and that's always metaphorically. But if there's any place where I need to walk or need to briskly walk, I'll go.
All right, dynamite. Well, I appreciate everything you step up and do in the community. Where do you see the greatest level of engagement and results? We look at issues and every single person that goes through the Gospel Rescue Center or any of our programs that graduates, and I've been at more than one graduation, and you see people taking leaps and bounds in their life. They really they find God, they find faith, they have strength. There's unity. There's I think there's an engagement with themselves and that relationship that a person has with themselves. Right. That there's an awakening, and I really respect and appreciate their that transformation. Where's some of the areas you think that we are still challenged the most, or where are you finding what we have such great results and impact?
Let me put on my one thing I didn't mention is I'm also on the committee member for the Marshall Plan on Crime. We're going to have our next meeting on the 27th of this month. Okay. And what I'll be bringing up in that meeting is again, which I mentioned in my intro, there's a desire on the behalf of the community in an organized fashion to partner with county and city governments to actually help on the problem. And I really want to help develop coalitions. Since I've left the Gospel Center Rescue Mission, I've been volunteering, also helping other nonprofits. For example, there's one called Ministries and Communities United. They're the ones responsible for the Martin Luther King March. That's in January. We're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King's assassination, so I felt led to kind of help them with that. There's a group called Faith in the Valley, and if you ever see like a candlelight vigil on behalf of crime violence, they're usually out there. I've done marches there. So what I see is a disconnect between a community that really wants to help and be a part of the solution, and really government knowing how to handle that. I mean, you have usually 20, 50 people coming to a council meeting say, I want to help, or I'm feeling helpless. And then you have a city government that wants to be engaged with them, but doesn't really know how to make that fit. So I'd like to help be that kind of go-between. And I think it's really involving helping like the nonprofit sector. The wonderful work is going on with the homeless task force. That's got all the stakeholders in one room attacking the problem as a whole. And now they're working out how to work together. And I'd like to see that happen across the board. When I was on the board of the Downtown Stockton Alliance, they're always trying to engage stakeholders. Some of the property owners that you may know are out of town. So it's difficult to always get them engaged in what's going on. Sure. So it takes a lot of legwork, a lot of efforts behind the scenes. But I believe that that's the sleeping giant in the component that needs to be really worked upon and focused on to actually help people. For example, let's talk about the area of volunteerism. There are a lot of people that want to volunteer in the community, don't know how to register, don't know where to go. Sure. They say, which nonprofit do I go to? Where do I go? So if there was some kind of assistance in saying that, helping them to say, if you're passionate about cancer research, this is where you need to go. If you're passionate about homelessness, this is where you need to go. So when I was working in the Gospel Center Rescue Mission, I was engaging volunteers. And they always said that, hey, I want to help with the area of homelessness. And whether they're college students, whether they're high school students. But I always felt there's a greater need for that partnership to be developed. And so my efforts that I'm doing right now behind the scenes now is really helping that coalition become more mobilized and developing avenues for that connection between public officials and the public that will help to actually solve change and bring forth change in a really organized fashion. Another example would be what's going on this week with Stockton Arts Week. That was like a couple of years in the making. I was part of the original planning for that as well. But now we have artists engaged, arts organizations engaged, Visit Stockton's engaged, Down to Stockton Alliance is engaged. Arts community is really being mobilized. That model can be applied to any problem. And I think, as has been said on other previous programs, even here, there's nothing we can't solve when we come together, but it takes a lot of effort to coordinate those things where there's a coalition that focuses on one thing, and we kind of have that focus agenda come together and systematically address issues.
And that's a key point, is bringing different interests and different agencies together, because sometimes it's the same goal, but there's conflicting patterns or way to get there, and competition of where you're going to use the funds. It's my funds, it's my grant, it's my this, it's my, and we oftentimes are polar opposites, while in fact we are exactly similar with the goal, intent, and the people you're looking to reach and impact.
Absolutely.
And penetrate to.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the Stockton Arts Council. You were part
Arts
of
Commission,
that.
yes.
Arts Commission. So when I was speaking to one of the firefighters yesterday, he said, "Tom, I need your help in something." I said, "Of course. What do you need? You know, they're out fighting fires and saving lives. So how do you refuse when somebody says, 'I need your help'?" There was a Stockton firefighter monument downtown by the waterfront area in one of the park areas, and it was just constantly being vandalized.
Yes.
So they picked it up, they moved it, and they want to relocate it to Victory Park. They're hitting into that, and you mentioned, bringing government and agencies together. They're hitting that bureaucratic brick wall. First, they're being told, well, if we're going to relocate the statue, the city owns it, which I don't think is fair, and they don't think it's fair because it wasn't bought by city property, city funds in any capacity. But that aside, they're unable to get the Stockton City Arts Commissioner to approve relocating it to its new home in front of the fire station at Victory Park. And they've been told it'll take months for us to review this and consider it and to give any type of approval.
Yeah.
So the Stockton City Planning Department cannot approve it until the Arts Commissioner gives his endorsement, which the fire department is being told it's not going to happen for months from now. And they've already been after this for about 2 to 3 months, and they're told it's months from now still, currently.
Right.
So being a man of action and putting you on the spot right here, of course, on the radio show, any opportunity that you think we can circumvent this bureaucracy and move this forward so that the firefighters can rightfully so have a proper dedication and a proper home for their tribute flag statue.
Absolutely. There's a term I'm sure you're familiar with, and you've heard from either citizens or maybe from your peers or maybe even thought it. There's a term called silos.
Okay.
And within city government, within county government, within nonprofit sector, within the public sector, within the private sector are silos.
Sure.
The silos do not communicate with each other. And so some don't even discover in the process of making progress that there's another entity to deal with.
Sure. Very true.
As a former commissioner, I'm fully aware of the challenges with city and arts. If you look downtown, another thing I didn't mention everything. I have a LinkedIn profile with all of my experience on it. But I was part of a project called SMART, Stockton Mural Arts Resource Team. And all we wanted to do is put artwork on utility boxes downtown.
Sure.
And a year and a half later, we got it done in another form, another way. We found out all the obstacles in between, coordinating with public art, public works, the city, private, PG&E, all the different entities. So my advice is you really need a coalition builder. And that's what I've been doing behind the scenes.
I appreciate that volunteering right now. If they're stepping up to be that coalition builder, that is outstanding.
I don't recall that being interpreted, but actually, honestly, again, I can't speak to all the things going on or things I'm planning for in the future, but I'm actually looking forward to being a more vocal part. But I really am enjoying my time off. Again, after 10 years in nonprofit work and in volunteering, and I actually even mentor in my own time as well.
Sure.
So that's before work, after work, during work. But I would be open to being at the table. But again, with that dynamics involved, you really have to be very careful in doing that. Building coalitions is a very slow process. But basically, if you have the stakeholders and necessary people in the same room, after connecting them offline and out of the room, there is a way for that to happen. But you have to remember this dynamics. With the Victory Park,
yes,
there are the neighbors, there are the community. I know about the Arts Commission, this particular situation, they had a meeting for all the stakeholders to actually decide what they wanted to do. There's a portion that wants to bring back the totem pole.
Right.
And so the totem pole folks are probably putting resistance or any kind of roadblocks that there may be to anything else other than that being the priority.
Right.
So I am versed, and I will take your online challenge, your Republic challenge, to be a part of the solution. But I also want to recognize the fact that what you have to do in coalition building in general is get the stakeholders to prioritize what their interests are, and then focus on what they have in common,
right?
And work from there. And as a starting point, work your way out.
Yeah, and everything that's being done is by donation. They're not asking for any money or resources from any agency. So it's one of those no-brainer things. And we bring a couple people together, make a couple phone calls, have a little meeting. Ted will buy everybody lunch, and that would be great if you can help. I'm
willing to help.
Yeah, you and I can work together.
Yeah.
Give me some phone numbers, and we'll move this together.
And that's the thing about it, is one thing I'm really blessed with in the last 10 years is relationships.
Relationships are everything.
Not just a Rolodex, not just an address book, but relationships.
Yeah.
And for me, what has been a blessing to me at the Gospel Center Arts Commission is when I would approach somebody in a relationship, when it came to a supporter, I would come to them saying, what can I do for you?
Right.
And I didn't mean that as a tactic or any kind of anything other than the fact that I want this relationship to be established on selflessness.
Right. Sure.
And a teamwork. What I call the we win philosophy.
Without an ask.
And usually over time, without me, again, being a strategy, someone will say, well, Ben, you're always saying what you can do for me. What can I do for you? And you can bet I have a list of things to do. If that happens, I know what that can happen. So to me, I have relationships in the community that are also friends.
Right.
And they're in different places, and we would do anything for each other. And that's really what I've learned about Stockton. Its greatest resource will always be its people.
Absolutely. Yeah, and relationships are key. I mean, I talked today. I'm going over to the Discovery Challenge Academy, and we've got cadets, and this will be the second class that's over there. And one of the biggest things I talked to them about job preparation, do's and don'ts, things that career opportunities, and working on those skills and that preparation. And the biggest thing I talk about is relationships. And I do the same thing when I talk to 3-year-olds through Rotary, and we're giving out dictionaries. Talk to them about relationships: relationship with your teacher, relationship with your classmates, relationship with your parents, relationships with your pets, relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
How are you treating yourself? How are you doing? What decisions are you going to make that's going to be beneficial for yourself? And relationships are the key. It's not who you know,
right?
Because you can know a lot of people, but not a lot of people know you,
right?
And you may not actually know them. You may know their name, but do you know that person?
It's a blessing when someone tells me that they said, when I mentioned my name, they said, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
I love that, and it's all, again, it's genuine, it's intentional.
Sure.
But it's a blessing, and I do really genuinely feel humbled for that. But I also know why I have that, and it's for an objective to actually be other focused, and to make sure that I use that for the betterment of Stockton. Because I believe anything I've been given is for my mission and my purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that really is. I'm here to serve Stockton in varying different capacities, but I really enjoy the fact that I have genuine relationships, so I can actually build together.
And doesn't it feel good, in all honesty, doesn't it feel good to help other people do better?
My saying is that it feels good to be selfish. It feels better to be selfless.
Yeah.
And going back to me in homelessness, my first contact with homelessness was I was in part of a college group that was going to feed on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to be able to tell you that I was moved by compassion to help less fortunate, but no, there was a cute girl who was going.
Great.
And I wanted to impress her and make her think I was a compassionate person. But when I went, I didn't get the girl, by the way, into the story. But when I went,
the story's terrible.
Yeah. But the good part was I made eye contact with the people that I was serving, and their gratitude, just the fact that I'm going for 2 hours and I'm going to pig out at my house, but they're saying you took out 2 hours of your time to invest with me, and that that exchange changed me. And I realized that it's easier to be selfish, but it's more natural to be selfless.
Sure, absolutely, and it's rewarding. I mean, think about how when you see somebody walking past and going to a door and their hands are full, an older gentleman or lady, and you open up that door and go out of your way to help somebody. You feel good, and they've actually scientifically proven that there's the chemical endorphins that release in your body it's healthier for you to help other people than even to be helped, because you feel good about yourself, and it's chemically proven.
Collateral benefits, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's those things that we try to make a difference in life, and it does pay off, and it makes our community that much better. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, Tom, earlier today you spent your time with the, I believe it's the EPB passport. What exactly is that? It's
it's the second graduating class, and you're not going to believe this, but San Joaquin. That's one thing people ask me in San Joaquin. What's the greatest rewards about being a supervisor? And I got to tell you something. It's discovering one of them would be discovering all of the many things we do that are progressive and impacting. And the reason I'll qualify that in a moment here, but looking at our course, we have collective course. We have Judge Flavianos is one of the judges.
Love Judge V.
Isn't he great, Judge V? And we've got Stephanie James that works in probation.
Love Stephanie James.
They work together, and they've put together programs that are being studied nationally. Let alone forget about just about in the state of California, that other supervisors constantly tell me all the things that we're doing that are innovative. So that's one of the things I find, that you see that while we have challenges, there are people that have stepped up, and like yourself, Ben, but they're influential and they're impacting. And so that program is a vocational training program, which is near and dear to my heart, and it's one of these programs that we're looking at in my little committee that I've brought together with county and public and private sources, and we're examining what the county's doing currently and what the Stockton Unified's doing, and on. So this program in particular takes people out of probation. People have gone through drug treatment programs. They go through a vocational training program, and there's several levels and different elements that they can incorporate, from trades to job skills. And today was a graduation, and it was the second graduation ever. It's the second graduation ever of a program like this in and around the state of California and throughout the country in many ways. So I had the opportunity I was at another session somewhere else prior to that for Sajafka, had to leave that, walk in right when I was being mentioned as a speaker. So I walked right up to the microphone and had an opportunity to congratulate those that were there graduating, the commitment they've made to themselves, their community, their family, and the impact that's going to have in their life. And then I also segued that later. I went back up and said, now you got your little diploma, and again, congratulations. Tomorrow's a job fair from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Come on out. We have employers showing up at the Stockton Civic Auditorium with fathers and families that are sponsoring a job fair program, and it's actually more. So it's very career enhancing opportunities.
Would that be the Nothing Stops a Bullet Like a Job resource fair?
And that's exactly what it is.
Yes, and that would be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that is tomorrow, as you said, at the Stockton Civic Memorial Auditorium at 525 North Center Street.
So when we say tomorrow, that's October 18th.
That's correct. It is archived.
Repeat later.
And that would be Wednesday, October 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
2017.
In 2017, yes. Yes. Tattoo removal, criminal record expungement, Know Your Rights seminar, employment and life coaching, and resume building will be offered from our friends at Fathers and Family of San Joaquin, and I believe you will be there as well.
Yeah, and I've made calls to people in the private sector. I know Fathers and Family has reached out to multiple contacts they have, and we're anticipating 20 to 40 employers showing up looking to hire tomorrow on the spot.
Wow.
So I'm spreading the word, and
you spread it today with the graduating class.
I did,
and
people
fantastic.
in the audience are coming up and asking, where's the location
Wow.
and what time. So I would anticipate a good portion of them coming out tomorrow, and really, what's really great to see is not only families that were proud, but the graduates, and you see some of them with their stories, and everybody's got a story, and then they admittedly made bad mistakes, and they were resistant, and they were fighting their probation officer, and then finally they something clicked and they got it, and they stepped up and they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to work hard, I can see this through, and you see that self pride, you see that that sense of accomplishment where something they were blowing off and they had no time for, and they thought it wasn't cool, it was better to hang out in a gang and do nothing and talk tough, but actually working hard was a tough challenge, and they enjoyed it, and they're growing, and they've got new opportunities because of it.
That's fantastic, this is one of the programs that not just other counties in this state of California, but throughout the nation are looking at for probationers and perhaps parolees that are in the criminal justice system that are looking to change their.
Judge V had said that we have 30% less DUI arrests.
Wow.
In this last year because of the programs that he has, because oftentimes DUI arrests are repetitive, and so there's a 30% reduction in San Joaquin County, thanks to the collaborative courts.
If I can just interject real quick, I want to give one more shout out to Judge V. He's one of those individuals that goes above and beyond the call of duty on a regular basis.
Yeah.
The first time I went to one of his courts where he actually goes, some of the clients of the Rescue Commission, they're called students, would go to get their evaluations. The first time I ever seen a judge come from behind the bench and give a high
Comes
five.
down, high five, and hugs them. Yeah.
That kind of out the box, that kind of above and beyond, is not really part of his job.
Yeah.
But it's who he is.
Yeah. He does, and if you notice his methodology, he doesn't start there.
No.
He doesn't give them that high five and that hug yet.
No.
They earn it.
Yeah. As a reward. Yeah.
Yeah. And he does. He is down there. He's passionately and embracing and celebrating their strides forward in life. And you have to appreciate that for sure. Yeah. A lot to be said for those making a difference.
Yeah, and the Discovery Challenge program is also another great program, and it's great that you're going to be a part of that later today.
Yeah, and here you have eager young teenagers
these
that are
17,
impressionable.
18-year-olds.
And I'll spend about an hour with them. One of the biggest things, and they do need to learn, and I've gone through this with multiple people you do mentoring with in job preparation, is have an elevator speech. 30 seconds to 45 seconds because one of the safe questions you will be asked is, so tell me about yourself. The last thing you want to be, I don't know. I guess I like, football and my friends. That's the last thing you ever want to say. You actually want to say, hey, I'm a second generation Stocktonian. I'm proud to be the eldest of all the kids of two other siblings. I want to be an example. I want to be responsible. I enjoy my responsibilities, my family and my community, and I'm here to work hard in your company and as I've advanced my career. That's a person that's got a mission. They've got a statement. They've got confidence. I want to hire that person, not the I don't know. So that's and believe me, I get that. When you do mock job interviews, that's some of the answers that you're going to get. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, that's why they need life coaching. They need to be given that level of confidence that they don't do that. Sometimes when people say that, it's not that they're uninformed about themselves. They get nervous. They get put on the spot.
And that's exactly what I would have done when I was 16,
absolutely.
17 years old. There's no question.
Sure we all did, yeah. I know I did.
Yeah, but I now want to help teach them what would give them an advantage of how to be a little more confident and how to be more professional in the way you present yourself.
No, that's great that you're taking the time out of your day to talk to.
It's a lot of fun. It really is. It's interactive. I ask a lot of questions. I throw a lot of curveballs at them, and we laugh, joke, kid, and have a genuinely fun time.
Nothing's more rejuvenating than hanging out with kids and just youth and people with potential.
Yeah.
And I love that. So it's just I'm sure, like you said, it's payoff for you as well.
Yeah, I enjoy it because it's payback. Things we've listened and learned to, and what we can share.
Yeah.
Ben, can you tell us, we've got about 5 minutes, I'd like to get your insights on the Marshall Plan. I know you're part of the committee.
Yes.
Tom's not in city government, he's in county government,
Right.
but it's all interconnected.
We're bigger.
Well, it is.
County government's much bigger.
Of course it is, but his constituents are affected.
Touche.
His constituents, many of whom do live in the city limits of Stockton, are affected by what's going on in Stockton city government.
And part of the Marshall Plan Committee are made up of committee members. Sheriff Moore is a part of it. Stephanie
Absolutely,
James is
yeah.
part
No,
of it.
it's a wonderful,
So
and I do
it's
want to hear
collaborative.
more. Want you to share more. So thanks, Ben.
So,
Well, actually, that's the point of the meeting on the 27th. There will be an update meeting. And so I'm looking forward to getting answers to questions as well. The Marshall Plan committee has not met for like the last maybe probably 10 or so months.
Okay.
And so what I've been doing since I've had the time now that I'm no longer with the Rescue Mission, I am actually I attend my first Measure A meeting on the 20th of September. And I also have had one-on-one meetings with Deputy City Manager Christian Clegg, and trying to catch up on things. And so I'm looking forward to the update on that. I'd advise anybody to go to the city website. There's a whole page on the Marshall Plan, a whole page on the Office of Violence Prevention. It's been in the news recently, so like I said, I have a lot of questions that I'll be bringing myself. And I'm looking forward to getting some answers and an update on the progress. It's been, I think, 3 years since it's been instituted, and I'm looking forward to hearing information that will let me know that there has been an investment of money by the taxpayers, and that there's a return on that investment with outcomes that are verifiable, and then that are, again, that can be on showing charts and graphs of the progress that's been made.
What are the objectives and goals? So we just share with the people what the vision is for members and participants, and what the mission statement would be for.
In short, the Marshall Plan Committee was designed to oversee the actual creation of the Marshall Plan, and then also the formation of the Office of Violence Prevention. And that happened through the years of 2013 and 2014. And then from that point on, the implementation's been going on. Mm-hmm. And part of that is involving what they call call-ins, where they actually focus on the 100 or so folks who are doing the most violent crimes and focusing on giving them what they call the carrot and the stick.
Sure.
And then also making sure that they have resources available in those call-ins, so that if they choose to take the carrot, they're going to follow up on that. But also let them know that if they're going to be on notice for that stick that comes around as well. So Chief Jones and again Christian Clegg has been a part of that and organizing that and coordinating with that. And then since that time, they actually had the passing of Measure A and B passages. So, and that involved taxes on the cities to make sure that they have the funding that they need.
Right.
So some of you may have read the article by Michael Fitzgerald last week. And so basically it's $94 million has been taxed so far. And so they're going to be able to present to the committee members, so again, who make up school boards and county and private and public and nonprofits. The committee members, again, are listed on the site. But basically, we are there to them to report to, and making sure that we ask the right questions that the public would want to know about how things are being run.
And that's also one of these innovative programs.
Absolutely. Operation Ceasefire, which is the program that's being implemented, comes from City of Boston. Mm-hmm. And so it's a data-driven program that's based on outcomes and basically what's worked in other cities when it comes to violent crimes. And so it's been adapted to the city of Stockton through, again, the police department and the deputy city manager to make sure that it's adapted to Stockton's unique violence problems.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's fantastic, and we're all looking forward to seeing what's next. I mean, the community, like you said, the greatest resource here is the people. The community is engaged, concerned, but also progressive, wanting to know what we can do different, better, and change the direction or outcome to the challenges. And
as I mentioned in the beginning, my questions will focus on the outcomes.
Yeah.
My questions will focus on what exactly there is. Again, online there's a PowerPoint of the presentation that Bob Dice did, which explains out what the Marshall Plan, what the Operation Ceasefire is going to be in implementation. So I want to know about those community programs, those community partners, and what has been done to work outside of the city and outside of the police department to make sure that, I know they have coffees, but I want to make sure they have those partnerships with for-profits, nonprofits, and all those partners in the community, and make sure that not only are we reducing violence, but we actually have a safe environment.
Right. Results. We want results.
Outcomes and results.
And what time is this meeting on the 27th?
It's just for the committee.
Okay.
It's 9 a.m. on the 27th.
Okay, and it is or is not open to the public?
That I don't know. As far as I know, it's just for the committee.
Okay.
Well, so I don't know the specifics. You can call city to
look on their website
for all details for that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for now. The Marshall Plan Committee that you're on is different than the Measure A Committee.
Absolutely. Measure A Committee meets and it's selected by city council members. Marshall Plan was actually selected by the city manager. And it was basically, again, stakeholders who have a stake. When I was selected, I was part of the Downtown Stockton Alliance Security Committee. Okay. So I was focused on downtown security. So everybody there had a stake in the security of not only Stockton, but San Joaquin County.
So many good things happening.
Like I said, go to the city website, has all the information on both the Marshall Plan and the Office of Violence Prevention. So check that out. If you have any questions, there's numbers, I think, on the bottom of every page of the city website.
Great. Outstanding. And is that about the end of it? Governor Don, how are we doing?
No. We still have about 10 minutes more, and I would like to take a quick moment to say this weekend, the Pixie Woods is having a benefit for underprivileged children, anybody who, and I wish we had talked about Julie Damron-Brown being everywhere at once. I don't know enough about this event, and I only wish Julie were here to talk about it. If she were here, and I know she's not here, but if she were, she would be able to talk about
no one can pitch it the way Julie would pitch it.
I know. I only wish she could be here.
You would actually show up. You were thinking about not showing up, but I think, I feel like she's almost with us now.
Well, it's because she has a presence, an omnipresent presence.
Because she's three people. She's triplets. That's what it is.
If one of the Julie Browns, Damron-Browns could be here, that would be just brilliant because at least one.
Because I don't know anything about this Pixie.
And even one would be good enough. One Julie Damron-Brown, I think it would be awesome.
Wait, who's that? Does somebody just walk in the studio?
Someone's knocking at the door.
Oh my goodness! Look who is here. The one and only, your ears must ring every time I go on air. Every time I go on air, your ears must ring and know that Tom's on air talking about you, and you just happen on by, well, at least one of you, wherever the other two are, I'm not sure.
Speak of the angel. There she is.
All right. Well, I'm here to talk about Pixie Woods, and Pixie Woods this Saturday is having an amazing event to celebrate the children in our community. And for those of you that don't know, Pixie Woods is an amazing facility located in Lewis Park, and it's like our local Disneyland for young children. And we are having a Monster Mash from 11 to 4, and entrance admission is free if you're dressed in costume for the kids. We will be giving away 500 pumpkins to the first little kids that show up in costume. They can purchase a wristband to ride all day for $5. And I want to give a shout out to the Downtown Alliance, who is also supporting our pumpkins, which is a first this year. And it's going to be a great event. So if you have kids in your family, bring them down to Pixie Woods from 11 to 4 to the Monster Mash. There's going to be rides, games, pumpkins. It'll be a wonderful event. Candy as well. And I hear that Wonder Woman may be making an appearance.
So that means, that's you're there, or is there another Wonder Woman?
I can't comment.
There may be more than one Wonder Woman
without revealing her true identity.
One or more Wonder Women will be there.
Maybe one or more. Julie, thank you for dropping by. You may have, I don't know if you heard our conversation earlier, but we were discussing the firefighter memorial, and I know you're active with the Stockton Firefighters Association.
Yes, and thank you for asking me, because I would like to comment on that. This memorial is really, really important to the firefighters. For those of you that don't know, 2 weeks ago Sunday was the anniversary, and even though the memorial has been taken up out of the ground, they brought it on a flatbed truck to downtown, and they had a beautiful formal ceremony, because this memorial commemorates and is so meaningful to them. And I'm really excited that all of you are interested in working on this. Tom and I have discussed this. I've secured some things for them, and I definitely want to be on any commission to help to make this happen, because they deserve to have their memorial at their facility.
Yeah, and it would be fitting, and it's proper, and we need to circumvent all of the obstacles and get this thing taken care of.
And I did promise to help on record, so I'm in.
And now you got all this free time. So since you're in this hiatus,
that's all I got.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So we have a champion over here, Julie, that's going to take up this cause and work for us.
I'm going to help tirelessly. I must also say on record that Julie is equal to 10 of Ben. If 10 of Ben equal 1 Julie, and there's 3 of her, so that's like she's inspiration to me.
Yeah, the secret's revealed, by the way, that there's 3. I found out through birth records that you were born as triplets.
You only think there's 3.
Is there more?
I can't comment.
More duplicity?
Well, we're getting to the end of this week's edition of the Tom Patti Reality Show. Ben, is there anything you would like to close with? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts, simply that I'm hoping that everybody who desires to make Stockton better, everyone that has resources to make Stockton better, everybody that wants to be involved will have an opportunity to do so. And I'm telling Supervisor Tom Patti on the air that if he can continue to open up those spaces for anybody who comes to you, whether an individual organization, to be involved, anybody who's on the public payroll, county, city, These are resources that should not be ignored. Get them engaged, get them involved. They want to take ownership in making Stockton and San Joaquin County better, so take full advantage of that, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I love your idea, Ben, of putting together really a shortcut of how to get where you want to go, so that you know where to plug into. And working with agencies like Andy Prokoff at the United Way. I mean, what another superstar.
Yeah.
So all these, there's a multitude of resources and organizations that need help, mentoring programs. I mean, Rotary's got a program, Child Abuse Prevention Council has a CASA program.
Wonderful program. Yeah.
Just one day a week, spend an hour with a foster child that's going to school, or an underprivileged child, makes such an impact in life. So everybody has something to offer, and we really do need to step up and help out, as many do already.
Yes.
So with that, Ted,
I just want to say thank you to our guest, Ben Saffold, for sharing an hour with us today.
Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing your insights.
at Tower Records, were you his supervisor?
No, I resisted the supervisor role.
Did he always have food on his clothing?
No comment, but he's always had a pen in hand.
Anybody
who knows,
jiggling his pen, yes.
Yes. Anybody who knows Ted knows
He puts
about
more
the pen.
miles on a pen than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Try driving down to Los Angeles and watching this pen twitch for like 4 hours in the car, and finally you like grab it, you snap it in half. You're like, enough of that already.
Supervisor, I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful day today with the Discovery Challenge, folks. Governor Don, thank you for another doing the production work behind the scenes.
Thank you, Don.
You're all quite welcome.
Thank you,
so what's up for next week?
Next week we are going to have Stockton's Poet Laureate, Tama Brisbane, discussing several endeavors
My
and
sister.
initiatives. Really? Oh,
My sister.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
What
I
a
love
beautiful
her dearly.
gal.
Yeah.
Love her dearly.
Yes, she has a lot of upcoming projects that she is working with a lot of youth on a number of initiatives, and she will be discussing that later.
Another one of
Actually, next
those
week.
one of those heroes behind the scenes
Superstar.
behind the scenes for so long, so faithful, so strong.
Yes.
Love you, Mama T, my sister.
Mama T will be here in the studio this Monday.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for joining the Tom Patti Reality Show.